Hi guys, welcome back to Gardening with Creations by DX and Company. Appreciate you guys joining today. Today I thought I'd give a quick update and an overview of my greenhouse. I went ahead and got some things started and planted in the ground today, and I'll go through those with you and eventually be able to take you along with those. I didn't do the video planting, unfortunately, didn't have a chance to, but I'll show you what we have going on. Thanks. So, starting this corner here, thought I'd go more herbs in the greenhouse and more of the other stuff outside. So, I had some rosemary we purchased from the store that I'm going to try. I know you can root rosemary directly from just a clipping, so I'm going to try rooting rosemary directly from a clipping. And I went ahead and trenched out right there. Hard to see, but there's rosemary. I did a trench there with the trowel and a trench here. I'm indicating with a screw each one of my spots, so that way I know if anything else comes in, it is likely a weed outside of that. So I did have some weeds growing in here because it's nice in here in the winter. Not perfect, but it's nicer. So this plot here is my rosemary. This plot here is regular mint that I was trying to grow in the pods. So I went ahead and planted a couple of the pods in there just to see if they would do a little bit better in ground in the warmth of the greenhouse. And I did spearmint back here. So as you can see, it'll be rosemary, then spearmint, kind of sectioned off. Here, as you guys know from some earlier update videos, this is the dill that was actually coming in that we started off in pods. So I went ahead and transplanted all that, put my labels in there. We even did a couple more rows of it. So, and then same thing here. I did dill here, and I had some clippings of thyme that we were using for cooking. So I went ahead and planted those clippings of thyme as well to try to get that going. So again, I sectioned this section off. This trench here is actually just where I'm going to put some wood in as kind of like cordoning off my sections. And back here, I decided to do basil. Or basil, however you want to pronounce it. So I did 2 rows of basil as well. So I just direct sow with all these to see how these go. So this whole wall basically will be herbs, mint, herbs, different things we can use for cooking. So I'm going to see how they do in the greenhouse this summer. I'll probably keep the windows, upper windows vented and the door vented a lot of the summer, but for now we'll see how they do. With this section here, this twig here I planted, actually I had purchased a blueberry plant that I planted from late in the season last year, and it never came in, so it looks dead. I don't think it's going to come in, but I'm going to go ahead and see how it does. This section here is going to be butter crunch lettuce, 3 rows of that. It's lettuce that you can cut the leaves as it's growing and it'll grow right back, so I love that. And then this section here is I did 3 rows of arugula lettuce. So I'm looking forward to having some arugula lettuce. So as I come up here, you'll notice that got a little workbench here in the greenhouse that I like to do some stuff with. Got a couple of my already starter seeds out here. These are all apple trees and the pear trees I showed you in an earlier video. I'll link to the description below. Another apple tree that I have going started here. My signage that I hang on my fence, my garden. And my gloves, and just some things that I work with, all the stuff that we planted today and packets I got to clean up. And as you can see, greenhouse will grow anything. So all through the winter, all of these weeds grew. So these are weeds sections. I just have to get weeded out. I only was able to do this. So this is just a simple 6x8 greenhouse, nothing big, but it does phenomenal. I grew last year cucumbers in this area and tomatoes all throughout this whole area, and I even had honeydew melons growing in this area here. So a lot of people worry that you don't get pollinators in here. You can, just have to vent everything, and they do. My cucumbers did phenomenal to the point where I actually had to pop one of my greenhouse lids and have them growing out the wall on the other side. I wish I had a larger greenhouse for that. But everything did really well in here last year, and I'm looking to see what I can do. So I decided with my greenhouse to do some in-ground raised beds, the simple walkway so I could reach everything, and that's kind of why I'm laying it out this way this year. But I'll take you guys along for the journey, and if you're curious about how well everything did last year, check out my page art in the top of my channel art. You'll see some shots of it just really doing well. You can see that it's middle of March. It is actually about 40 degrees out right now, and you can see the temperatures here in the greenhouse are already hitting a nice balmy 65-ish, and the humidity is upwards of 50. So really hoping that I mean, with the temperature still dropping in the 20s 30s overnight, unfortunately, hoping we do okay. So we'll see if this thyme roots like I'd like it to. We'll see if this rosemary roots like I'd like it to. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go get fill up my watering can with some fish tank water, and I'm going to go ahead and water in each of these areas that we just planted and get the soil nice and damp. But I'm going to use a watering can rather than a hose or anything like that, because I don't want to disturb the seeds that I just did. Just a nice sprinkle over the top that you can get from a watering can. So that's what we're going to do next. But appreciate you watching, guys. If you like this video, like, subscribe, and I'll bring you along for the progress. Thanks a lot, guys. Be safe.